Hello, how you doing? How you been? So today it's going to be like a different type of video. It's not going to be clothes this time. I realized that like every time I do books now, like stuff with books, I just show like the haul, but I never really talk about the books that I read. So with that being said, I am going to start doing I've been doing them already, like my monthly videos of like books I've read for that month. But I would just like show the books that I've read, like I wouldn't really talk about them. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. Okay. So I'm going to split it up into two different categories. So the first category is going to be like physical books, like all the physical books I've read. And then the second category will be all the books that I read off of my iPad. And this month, I actually didn't read that many books, but that'll be good for y'all because it won't be a long video. Okay, so let's just hop right into it. We're going to start off with the physical books first. So all the books that I actually started reading were the ones that I just recently got from my local library's book sale. So this first book, I'm going to count it because it's the actual physical book, but there's actually not really that many words in it. It's just more of like a picture book, but it's still a book. So I'm counting it. The first book is Eccentric Style. Eccentric is one of my favorite words, so I had to get it. Eclectic is obviously my other favorite word because it's my name of my channel, you know. But this is just showing like different like landmarks throughout the U.S., France, Asia, all those places, and it kind of gives like a little bit of background detail on them, not too much. It don't go fully in depth. It just like allows you to like just really look at it, and to me it kind of makes it feel like I'm actually standing there and looking at whatever it is. So I'm gonna find like some pictures, like some of my favorites that I see in here. Some of them are just kind of like strange. Like I'll just show this first one. I'll do like a little quick flash because there's some nudity in here, but this is what this side looks like. There's a whole statue laying by the bed, and then if you saw that, I tried to do it as fast as I could, but it's like why. Like, who in their right mind would want to sleep somewhere where you have a picture of a literal demon in the corner and then dogs fighting off a wolf that's eating one of the dogs? Like, how do you go to sleep and not get nightmares from this? Like, and then the crazy part is at the top there's a freaking octopus on the top of the ceiling. And then you have a freaking concentration camp mural on the wall of the women specifically. Like, who slept in here? And how did you go to sleep? How did you sleep at night? Really? Like literally, how did you sleep at night with all this going on around you, around the bed? Like it just didn't make no sense. But hey, I can't be no. I'm sorry. We look and we do judge because no, that was the craziest one that I seen up in here. Now let me find one that I actually like. So this one I really liked the detailing on the frame around the bed, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like look at that. Like how long did it take for them to be able to build that around, the bed? And then also looks like it's like two beds right next to each other. But like, Yeah, that's very, very intricate detailing. And I wonder if that's like wood or if it's something else because it kind of looked like wood, but then it kind of don't look like wood. And this is like another one. It's like I'm assuming like the living room or something. Not living room, dining room. Because it has like the chairs, they have the same type of detail, the table. And then in the middle of the table, they got this like big statue, not statue, but like this big thing carved on the middle of the table. Like, I mean, that's kind of hard to see. Like, if you sit over here and somebody else sitting over there, I'm not gonna be able to see you because it's all up in the way. But yeah, even look over here, more intricate detailing. Like, how many years did that take? Like, for real, it's just I don't know. This book is very eccentric. It is. It's, oh, those two that I showed you, like the intricate detailing on the bed and the table, is in Germany, in Lemgo, Germany. So, and then the crazy one with the octopus on the ceiling and the lady by the bed and all that stuff, that's in France. Okay, but yeah, this is what I'm like. It'll show you like after you look at the pictures in detail, it'll give you like little descriptions and where you can find these things at. So this was a quick little book. Literally just looked at all the pictures and moved on. Book number two. I ended up getting this one because I am really on my like friend kick. Like I just really want to like be able to find my friend group that I'm supposed to be growing old with and stuff like that. I still have yet to find my in-person friend group. Like I obviously have friends that I've made in like high school, college, but they all live out of state. We don't really talk that much, so it's just like it'd be nice to have my, one or two friends that I hang out with in person every now and then, like at least once or twice a month. I honestly would say I am a very like low maintenance type of friend, so that's the type of friendships I would like. But anyway, this book I just saw To Be a Friend, and I said, "Oh, I love the pink. I love the design. The title is attracting my attention, so I'm going to get it." And I ended up actually reading it, and it's giving more like kind of like poetry, but at the same time, it's just like kind of like a book of other people's like sayings throughout the years. So they're like kind of like verses or whatever, but it says you can hardly make a friend in a year, but you can lose one in an hour. Ain't that the truth? That is crazy to think about. Like, people don't really think about that, I feel like, a lot. But, and then it just says, like, where did they get that saying from? And it just says Chinese proverb. And so, like, each page has, like, about, what is it? One, two, three. Yeah, about six different sayings from different people, different places or whatever. And so this was like obviously a quick read too. And then I looked at the title again because I only saw this part when I got it. But it says, yeah, sayings and verses celebrating the beauty of friendship. So, I mean, it was a cool little book. And then also it had, I am a sucker for books that have like little writings on them, like from the people who gifted the books to a friend or something. So this one was March 17th of 1978. And she said, "Dear Mary, with love and gratitude." And then it says, I think, oh, Miss, I think, no, Miss or Senior, I don't know. Margaret Manny, I think. I promise y'all, I know how to read, I know how to read cursive, but this one is just like, okay, I'll forget, like, whatever. Yeah, I think that says Senior. But then it says SHJM. So I don't know what that is about, but like this is what it looks like. And I just thought that was so cute because it's like, oh, and then the book itself is beautiful. Like, take the cover off and look it. Oh, that is so cute. So, to be honest, I'm like, would I read this book again? Because the books that I want to keep with me are the books that I will definitely like read again after like I forget about it a couple years down the road. This one, I don't know if I would read it again, but just based on how cute it is, and I just don't have really that many books about friendship and stuff, I most likely will keep this one. I'll also keep the eccentric one just because it's cool. And on to the next book, we have No Regrets. And this one is about a lady she had turned 60 and she had like this dream that like made her rethink like her life. And she kept hearing people say like, oh, this, you're in your last quarter of your life, like blah blah blah, what you want to do. So she decided to like kind of change up how she was going through life, and just wanted to like make sure she was a better person and also leave more meaningful and joyful memories with the people that she was close with. And I actually really liked this book because it was talking about like, you know, the end of life. And also, I just like books that talk about the end of life in a more positive setting. And it's always, because, you know, end of life doesn't have to be negative and it doesn't have to be dark. But if you fight it, then it can lead to being that outcome of being dark and being horrible and all this stuff. But if you embrace it, or even if you just tolerate it and just distinguish, like, hey, I see you, you see me, we understand, like, this is what's going to have to happen. We just have to be cordial. It would be like a smoother process for a lot of people. I actually took a course in college, and that was actually one of my favorite courses throughout my whole college experience. Just learning the end of life and what goes into it, how beautiful it can actually be if we just opened our minds up to it and just like became more understanding of it, you know. I feel like with a lot of us, it's just like the fear of the unknown. So a lot of people just don't like to talk about it, don't like to think about it because they just don't know what's going to happen. And then that makes you scared. But I just feel like, yeah, if we all were able to at least be able to understand it better, a lot of us would not be in so much pain when it comes to getting close into that fourth quarter. But it was a really beautiful book. I actually cried a little bit, so I would say, yeah, this book definitely got me. And it was a quick read. It wasn't too bad. I think this is more for like people like the more like seniors, because the wording, the format is pretty big font, so it's a really quick read, to be honest with you. But it also made me like rethink about end of life again and just wanting to learn more about it again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I really like this one. So this is definitely in my top three books that I liked for the month of March. This book, I actually didn't get this book from the local library book sale. I actually ended up letting the people know at my job that a certain day was going to be my last day at work, but it ended up not being my last day at work. But I ended up becoming friends with the lunch delivery person. So I had to do like serve lunch for the seniors, and they would come in and bring the food from the county. And they gifted me this on my last day of work. They're going to be surprised this week when they see me there, because they're going to be like, what? I thought you said you weren't going to be back. But anyway, it's called This Is Water, and it's by this author. You can read it, yeah. But this book was like decent. I feel like it was very like beginner level of learning about a certain topic, like a learning about mindset. Because that's kind of the interpretation I got from the book, is like this is telling you like if you change your mindset on life, then you'll have better outcomes. And if you stay in a negative mindset, then obviously you'll attract more negativity to you. And that's kind of like this one, the no regrets one, is kind of doing the same thing. It's like it kind of hints at, oh, changing mindset and stuff like that. So that's what I got from this book. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I've already like kind of already been reading books about mindset and how that affects your life and all that stuff. So I feel like this was like kind of like what's one plus one, you know what I'm saying? But the message that they have put on here for me was just so sweet, and I was like, oh. So I'm going to keep this book just because like it was a gift, and it was a very nice and thoughtful gift. And what they said was, for a truly wonderful person, this book carries a message that I hope stays with you, just as your kindness and friendship will always stay with me. Wishing you success, happiness, and endless new adventures. English is actually not their first language either. So that was, I just thought that was really nice. And this is what it looks like. But yeah, this was a quick read as well. The book itself is decent. I mean, for somebody who's just like kind of starting to get into that, I would like probably recommend this book. And the last physical book that I read, well, I'm still kind of in the middle of reading, but I'll finish it today, is You Can Heal Your Life. I absolutely love this book. Like, this book I did get from the book sale, and I ended up getting these books and a bunch of other books for $5. So a whole bag of books for $5 at my local library book sale. This book, the font is a little more on the smaller side, but like the graphics in here is just so adorable. Like, let me show you. Like, this is what the front page looks like, and then throughout it, it's like just this cute, fun, whimsical, and like I feel like just opening this book has like kind of like healed my inner child. Like it really speaks to the inner child, this book. And all the graphics is just cute. It's not very like, I feel like, I don't want to say like structured. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but like the pictures is not like, oh, it has to be perfect. It has to look like realism or anything. I don't know what the name of this art style is, but like it just gives very fun. If it comes out imperfect, that's perfectly fine. You won't be able to really tell because it's just supposed to be fun. You know what I'm saying? Like this one, the reflection, it's very cute. I really like this book, and I'll definitely be rereading it because it even tells you in the beginning, like it suggests that you just read through the whole book because there's actually exercises in here that you can do. But it says to just read through the whole book first, the first round, and then the second round you come back and then you do like the exercises, which I think is really like cool because it kind of doesn't pressure you to try to get all the exercises done at first, and it just allows you to actually just absorb all the information and then get into it. And then I haven't gotten to this part yet, but I still wanted to show it because I thought it was cool. She was referencing back to one of her other books that she has, but this part of the book is talking about, let's see, it says the list, and it says, as you look through the following list taken from my book, Heal Your Body, see if you can find the correlation between diseases you may have had or are having now and the probable cause I have listed. A good way to use this list when you have a physical problem is, and then it lists all of them. So you can pause that to read it if you want. But okay, so I just picked a random one, not a random one, but I picked one that kind of like pertains to me. So it shows like it says problem cause, and then new thought pattern that you should have with that specific problem. So for a problem, it says allergies, right? Okay, a lot of people have allergies, and then it says the problem cause is who are you allergic to? Denying your own power, right? That's what it says the cause is. And then it says the new thought pattern you should have. The world is safe and friendly. I am safe. I am at peace with life. And to be honest with you, that is so crazy because I actually, when I was working at a summer camp in the Wisconsin Dells area, I supposedly developed allergies, right? I couldn't breathe out of my nose for like at least a good 3 to 5 months. So that whole summer, I couldn't breathe out of my nose. And then when I went into school and started school back, I still couldn't breathe out of my nose. And then when I finally was able to be able to breathe out of my nose again, I couldn't smell like a lot of stuff, like even strong things like mint, stuff like that. I can't, to this day, I still can't smell.
To this day, to this day,
I still can't smell. And I I like made a joke about it that like, oh, I'm just allergic to the whole state of like Wisconsin. I'm just allergic to Wisconsin. A lot of really bad stuff happened there when I was residing there for college. I ain't gonna get too much into that, but yeah, I was like joking, be like, oh yeah, I'm just allergic to the state. But now reading this, it's like, okay, yeah, it does make sense because I developed allergies in a state that was denying me of my own power. And I'm not gonna get into too much detail about how they was denying me of my own power, but going to college in at a PWI private school in the middle of nowhere, I feel like you could brainstorm quite a few ways of how I was getting my power denied. Okay. Anyway, so I'm thinking that this is really cool. I think this is really cool. That is pretty much all of the books that I read that were physical books. Now we're gonna move on to the virtual ones. Okay, so for that, I'm just gonna bring my handy dandy iPad. Okay, I decided to decorate it a little bit. I am in love with this sticker. It says I've lived 1,000 lives. And then in the back, I just have just one more chapter because I literally have been saying that a lot when I read. Like I read my iPad at night before I go to bed. Like obviously a lot of people are like, oh, you should be actually reading your physical book before you go to bed. So, the light doesn't prevent you from wanting to go to sleep, whatever. But it actually helps me fall asleep. Especially if the book ain't really that good. I know that's messed up to say, but yeah, sometimes the books don't really be that good. But this month, let's see. So the first book that I read this month was The Love Strategist by Torrance Santana. And I would say that book was decent. It was decent. A lot of these books that I got were free from I call it Brea, is a BREA. It was some like thing where there's like a lot of black author books that they were giving away for a certain amount of days for free. So you could download them for free. So I ended up getting like a lot of books from them. At least like 20 plus books. And so I've just been trying to go through those books and trying to like finish reading all those. Then on top of that, there was another one. I don't remember the name of that one, but it was just for a day, and they were letting you be able to download books for free. So I wasn't able to really like read all of the descriptions for any of these books. I literally just purely went off the titles and the covers. I know a lot of people don't want to say that's not good to do, not to judge a book by its cover. But at that point, it was just way too many books. I could not read. I'm a slow reader on top of that. So I could not just read through all of those before the time that was allotted, to download it. So I was just like, yeah, I'm going to have to speed through these and just pick whichever ones catch my eye, and then I'll read those. So that's what I did. And so far, I'm not really regretting it too much. There has been some really good books, and I'm like, ooh, it has made me want to get the second book. But there have been some where it's just like, So The Love Strategist, it was pretty decent. It was cute. It's like a romance novel, and it's just about like this lady who is a love strategist, but her love life is lacking. Then this famous guy ends up being on there, like on her show, and then they end up falling for each other, and the whole story like that. So it was cute. It was, obviously kind of predictable already, so it wasn't really like making my mind have to work too much. So it was just like a chill little quick read through. Then the next one is Resurrected Hearts by Monica Cox. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I honestly don't remember what happened in this book. I don't remember what happened in this book. I really don't. Like I'm full on blanking on what happened in this book. I think it was a decent book. Like I'm not saying it was terrible or nothing like that. Next book. Now this book, it was it was a little like I would not read these books. It was just a little too graphic for me. But I just had to power through. I know sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I really can't power through. But this one, I had to power through because it was still very like interesting to like see how the story unfolds. So it's kind of like, oh, I hate that character. Oh, I hate this about that. But like the plot itself was still pretty interesting. And I'm not gonna say the name. I'm gonna just put like a picture, like I've just been doing. I'm just gonna put a picture of the title, and you'll know. So the title gonna be right here. And this book, it's just very. It's about like a girl who runs away from her home. The mom is just like never there. Her boyfriend is like a predator trying to prey on her. So she leaves after she does something, she leaves. But when she goes to the city, she ends up, having to be in a certain line of work. And then that brings on some pretty, like, not, it ends up becoming gruesome, because she ends up turning into a vampire. But that part was kind of sad because it's like, dang girl, you really had to do him like that. But then after that, she just becomes just like this monster. Like she really just turns into a full blown monster, and it's really sad to see like what happens to the people around her. Then the mom ends up. I don't want to say that because I ain't trying to spoil it because some people might really want to read it. But yeah, just know that it's can be a little much sometimes. But I'm still hooked on it because I want to know, like, are they going to be able to complete their mission? You know. So I'm not going to talk too much more about it because like I don't want to spoil nothing because I don't know who wants to read that, who's been wanting to read that book. But yeah, it's pretty graphic. I'm gonna just leave it at that. The next book is Blood Spells by Alicia. Uh, it's blocking her last name, so I don't really know. It starts with an E something. That book was pretty decent. With books that aren't about like romance, like I want them to like really stimulate my mind and make me really think like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? You know, I like the suspenseful, like thriller ones. This one, it was kind of giving that, but at the same time, it wasn't enough suspense, I guess, for me, in my opinion. But I still liked it. It was pretty decent. So this next book is called Dating Dracula, Dating Monsters, Book One by Kinsley Adams. I actually read one of her other books before this, and just now realizing that it's because I was like the imagery on the cover looks similar to another book that I read. But anyway, it was pretty it was pretty chill. I liked it. It was like funny at times. It wasn't like too graphic or anything like that. So it was kind of like a lighthearted book and like a quick read. I liked it. Next book is called Loving Me for Me by Nalena K. It was a decent book. It wasn't bad. It's about like interracial relationships, like black woman, Indian man, and she ends up having kids. He doesn't know that he's the dad. And then they end up running into each other. Then they have to figure this all out. It definitely got me like feeling something. So I feel like that's a good sign with a good book because at times I was like, girl, you should have done more. And at times I'm like, dude, what are you saying? Why are you allowing this to go on this far? You know, it was an interesting book in that aspect, just seeing like the differences between the cultures. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. And then the next book, it says Finding Our Way in Love by Brianna Michelle. This was actually like a second book. So I didn't read the first book because I didn't get it in like that whole free thing. And I don't even know if they were giving it away during one of those, but it was a pretty quick read. It wasn't like a long. It's like kind of like a short story about the relationship between the two main characters of the first book. Not really much happened. It was like a romance book. It was kind of typical, not typical, but like it just didn't really have much. I don't know what the word I'm trying to say. Like it didn't have really much entertainment aspect. I don't know. It was just like a decent book. It was a decent book. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like there wasn't really much to talk about because I don't know what happened in the first book, and then this one is just talking about like them getting prepared to have their kids. So yeah, not really an interesting topic to me, in my opinion. So I was just like, yeah, it's alright. Then the very last book that I just finished reading a few days ago is called An Alpha's Claim. The Rain Pack Series, Book One by E. Bowser? Bow something. Is covering the last name again. Now, quite a few of these books that I have listed off, they do have some sensual scenes in them. So these books aren't really for little kids. Okay, this is the grown folks books. Okay, and this one was really good. I actually like this book. I want to read the second book because I do want to know what happens. So basically, it's like a wolf pack, but there's a bunch of wolf packs across the U.S. And each wolf pack, like their alphas, there's alphas and betas and all that, betas, zetas, all that stuff, right? But this certain pack, all of the kids from the parents, they all became alphas, but they're all under one of the alphas for the time being. And then there's this rogue alpha going around trying to exterminate all of the other alphas, especially this family since they had all the kids was alphas. they trying to exterminate them because he's supposedly the true alpha, but he got a demon attached to him. And so it's just kind of like they got to work with the hunters, and they have a bad relationship with the hunters because the hunters haven't been doing their job. And so now this girl comes and she's trying to help like repair that relationship between the wolves and the hunters. And when she first gets there, the main alpha, who the oldest brother alpha, who's over all of them, he ends up like clicking with her, and he's like, "You're my mate, like we're supposed to be together," type of thing. And so they're trying to figure that out, and then like all this other stuff happening with like the rogue alpha and his demon and stuff. So it was really interesting. It was really interesting, to say the least. So I can't wait for them to come out with the book too, so I can read that. But that was pretty much all of the books that I read on my little iPad using the little Kindle app. Now, I would say my favorite books for this month would be definitely I would say this is number one, definitely my favorite book of the month. So I absolutely adore this book. And then my second favorite book of the month, I would say from like the iPad, would be the Alpha's Claim. Yeah, an Alpha's Claim. I would say that's my favorite virtual book and my favorite physical book of the month. So yeah, I can't wait to see what books I decide to read next month. But that was it for this video. I think I am going to start doing my monthly book reviews like this instead of just doing shorts, because I actually feel like, yeah, it's kind of nice to actually talk about the books that I read, and even if they're not books that like everybody's reading right now, it don't matter. That's pretty much it for this video. I'm gonna end it here before I start rambling, and I will see y'all in the next one.